Hey, it's Ryan. Thanks for being here on my YouTube channel today. Today I want to make a new video about something I've been thinking a lot about over the last, I'd say, year and a half, and then also my entire life. And that's the reason I got into filmmaking and subsequently acting and everything like that, and even YouTube. And that was because of a love for filmmaking. I know a lot of people are like that, and I think it's easy to get distracted, whether by film school or YouTube itself, and you start going down avenues, or I did, of things you don't exactly love. So I've completely quit doing professional video. I'll do it in special occasions, or if someone needs something and we're working together, or it's a favor, or it's something I really want to do for different reasons. But I'm no longer hiring myself out. I'm no longer a contractor for other people, whether that's for wedding films or corporate films or anything. I obviously still have my equipment. Today I'm shooting on the Pocket Cinema 4K, a camera I still love, and I will go into some camera stuff in some upcoming videos. But the reason I got into filmmaking in the first place was just because I love the medium of telling stories in this fashion, right? Watching movies and TV shows and cartoons. That was really what got me interested, and where I began to lose interest really was in other people's projects and projects that didn't have my passion behind them. Cameras, I do geek out about. I love cameras. I like taking pictures, but all of that I like doing for me and for the joy of it. And when I started to do more professional work, probably around 5-6 years ago, started to do some photography for hire, started to do some cinematography or whatever else, and I started to not like that. And I've seen that happen with some music friends. I also like music. I like to play some instruments and write my own songs, but again, that's what I like doing, writing my own songs, making my own music. I've had some like-minded friends throughout the years, from the time I was little, who either like to make movies or like to make music, but we always did it for us. And when I began to do it for other people, I felt like my music friends who went to music school and then got tired of being musicians, or started a music program at a university and realized they would rather be a philosophy major but just make music on the side. And that's where I was starting to go with filmmaking. I do like making some YouTube videos about gear and different things just because it's stuff I geek out over. But the whole reason I got into modern digital cameras and filmmaking from the time I was little was to make movies, and to make, whether it was short movies or feature films or silly sketches with my friends. That was where my passion always lied, and that was where the joy came from. So when I started learning more, I guess, and doing jobs for other people and organizations and companies, I started to lose the passion I had for doing this. And I really realized that's because I didn't want a great camera, a camera that was easy to use and produced a great image, because I wanted to make corporate stuff for other people, or wedding films, or even skate videos, or whatever it was. That's just not my passion. And if that's your passion, that's great. I've seen filmmakers who make amazing wedding films that I could never make. I've seen people who make great corporate videos even, which is hard to do, but people do it. There's some great talent out there, and of course right here on YouTube, there are so many good video and film guys. But for me, the passion was always the creativity, and that goes for music that I mentioned, or just for cameras and filmmaking. And I realized that I needed to get back to what I really love doing. So I've always loved the creative aspect of making movies, you know, and movies meaning shorts or features or whatever. And one thing I realized recently, like within the last year, was that the joy came from just the creativity and just making whatever I wanted. So about a year ago, I thought, I'm gonna make something just like I used to. So about a year ago, we were coming out of lockdown and a lot of time was spent alone, and I'd had this idea that I thought I wanted to make into some sort of movie. Now this idea had been around for a while, but I could never get it on paper correctly, could never write the script correctly, and then I realized all the movies we used to make with my friends, whether it was friends when I was little or friends when I was, 20 years old, we would just make the movie for fun, for the creativity, to make each other laugh, for the fun of it. And I thought, man, wouldn't that be great to just make this idea into a movie. And I'm talking about not scripting it, not planning ahead, just making it. And that's what we used to do. We had done that with horror movies, or when I was little, I'd grab the camcorder and just force my brothers to make a movie, and that was so much fun. And so I was in a weird spot where I didn't have a lot of my friends around that I used to make these improv bits with and everything. And since I'd been spending a lot of time alone, as we all did, I thought, why don't I just make it alone? So how do I do that? Well, I would have to improv, but then I would have to go back and improv off of myself. And then I thought, as weird as this would be, I'd include some puppets and include some animation and try to see what I could come up with. I wanted to get rid of everything that didn't make me happy about the process of filmmaking. So I intentionally didn't want to make it cinematic like they do on YouTube. And again, there's some people who shoot stuff, it's just B-roll on YouTube and it looks beautiful, but it's not a story. It's not something that makes me necessarily happy, and it doesn't make me happy shooting it. So I wasn't going for beautiful, and I wasn't going for good even, which is such a subjective term. I was just going for, I want to make a movie like I used to. So I would improv it, I would use props and puppets and green screens and rudimentary animation, and I would make this. And it was just basically a challenge to myself. A challenge and a throwback in the sense of, can I make a movie just on a whim like I used to? So I set out to make a feature completely by myself. Currently, the trailer is on my YouTube. It took me like 10 days to even decide to share it because, again, I don't think it's necessarily good. It is what it is, but I am proud that I finished this project. I finished this challenge to myself, and I went back to making bad movies. It doesn't necessarily mean it was terrible. It doesn't mean it was a bad process. Everything about it I actually enjoyed, and that was what I set out to do. So I think there's a lot of merit to doing the things that make you happy, not necessarily following the rules, not trying to be like everyone else, not trying to be the person you saw on YouTube, the person who made that huge budget movie. This was super low budget, and I mean almost no budget, except for the fact that I do have a nice camera and nice lenses. I purchased some puppets, to be honest, and set out to make what would become a finished feature called Invisible Friends. The trailer is out now. Please check it out. Please make your own bad movie. Do an album for yourself if you're a musician. Paint some stuff that you don't care what other people think about. I think that's where good art really comes from, when you're not inhibited. That's why children can draw amazing paintings and just be happy about it. And I wanted to bring some of that back to filmmaking. I hope I can make some more stuff in the future and cut out the stuff I don't like. Maybe it's the script. Maybe it's, you know, perfect cinematography, whatever that is. And I hope there's like-minded people out there who think the same thing. I hope you enjoy the trailer. If you don't, that's okay too. I finished it, and eventually I suppose I'll release the feature, maybe just for me, or maybe a few people will want to see it. As always, thanks for coming to my channel. Make art, make bad art, do things that make you happy. I hope you're well. I'll talk to you real soon. I'll see you.